Why am I standing out in the middle of a rainstorm underneath my cattle panel trellis? Well, that's because I'm going to introduce you to my innovation for the Shed Wars 21 Spring Innovation Gladiator Challenge. A lot of you have put out videos. I've seen a lot of great content so far, but I think this one's going to blow some minds. I learned about this about 2 years ago. Not a lot of people know about this, and so I want to introduce you to the way that I garden. Didn't mention it last year because I'm still getting into it. Reason why I haven't gotten too much into it, these are 20 bucks a piece. And then it goes for other things that I add, and that all adds up. So slowly I've introduced this. You've heard of Hugelculture, right? You've heard of permaculture, yeah? So what about electroculture? I think I might have blown some minds with that word right there. Electroculture. It's a proven fact discovered by the Chinese 200 years ago, and they implemented it into a lot of their gardening. The reason why is because the rain isn't what helps your plants. It's really what's in the atmosphere. So I'll explain what electroculture is. We'll go through all of that. And then stick with me in this video, guys, please, because I've got some great examples and some great things to teach you people. So you guys are all running around planting stuff and doing this and doing that, but you never think about what's around you all day long, and that is your atmosphere. What exactly is electroculture? Very simple. You don't have to get too scientific to understand it. Trust me, science goes over my head, but I'm going to explain it the best way that I can so that everybody out there can see and understand what I am talking about. Electroculture is where you're trapping the electric ions in the air into your garden. You're attracting them by using metal. So you're putting out things like cute little wind chimes with metal poles, or this pretty little owl I picked up at the dollar store, or maybe you're throwing in a stake or making some really cool funky sculptures to put into your garden. Now, my intentions for this were going to be different. I wanted to make a pyramid, but that cost a lot. But I wanted to introduce copper this year because copper is a really good metal to use. And so what I thought is this will sit in my garden, and I'm not going to do anything. I've just got it stuck into the top of the pole. But as the wind comes through, it's going to move it. And it's kind of like how a sound wave looks. So to me, this is my copper wave going through the atmosphere, going through the air. Okay, we're going to take this back to old school Saturday morning cartoon style, and we're going to use pictures and diagrams. So you've got a rain cloud out in the sky. This is how electroculture works. As this rain cloud is running through your atmosphere, going through the sky, it shoots out something very easy and basic, which is lightning. So now you've got electrified currents running through the sky. All right, so this lightning bolt has now shot out hydrogen and nitrogen ions and atoms into the atmosphere. These then form together to create a type of ammonia. All right, so this ammonia mixes with the rain and falls to the earth. And it comes down in a diluted form of nitric acid, which is basically a nitrogen. We all know that when we put too much nitrogen on a plant, it grows lots of leaves and doesn't produce fruit. But did you know that this is the perfect type of nitrogen to do everything your plants need? All right, example number one. You've got a plane flying above Alaska, Canada, Iceland, Greenland, all of that. And they're giving you sky views of their forests. Do you know how beautiful their trees are? How lush and green and just gigantic and, extravagant compared to here in the US. That's because of the aurora borealis. That system of electrical currents is running through the sky, and it's dropping all those ions everywhere. And that's all collecting in those forests, and it makes them greener. Perfect example, right? I'll prove to you right now why this system is 100% effective for how I garden. All right, what you're looking at right here is my old trampoline. My kids were done with it, had a hole in it, wanted to do something with it really great, so I turned it upside down and threw it onto the ground, and I planted melons here last year. Melons. And you can see I didn't do a whole lot. Right there, proof. It's an old wine box. I shoved it full of soil, I put some mulch over the top. This one's become a happy home for ants, but you can still see the vines coming out because I never pulled all the vines out of the boxes. So now, I planted the same amount of melon plants last year that I did in 2019. 2019, I stuck them in raised beds and stuck them in sections of my garden. I got 13 melons in 2019. In 2020, planting in the smallest amount of dirt possible, I got 40 melons out of the same amount of plants. And why is that? Because I surrounded it in metal. All of those ions were collected. All that energy, as you can see, I put all these boxes right in front of the poles. All that energy was harvested into that metal in the atmosphere around the plants, and when the rain would come down, it put it straight directly in there. So yes, on a trampoline in wine boxes, I grew 40 melons. Largest banana melon I ever grew last year was 11 pounds. It was the size of a watermelon. I still have not yet, years prior to that, been able to find one that even came close to that size. That was a big melon. But yeah, electroculture. Guys, I'm telling you, it is something to think about. It is really cool the way this all works. So in case I lost you, I decided to get creative since people don't think I can. And I'm going to give you a little bit of chicken talk with my chicken head and let you know the best example out there. Frankenstein's monster. How was that monster created? Electricity. In a thunderstorm, open air, all of that created Frankenstein's monster. Giving you some examples, just going to throw it out there again. All you need is a rainstorm with some lightning and something metal to attract it. Put in staking, put in trellising, anything metal you have laying around, throw it out in your garden. It's going to help. It's going to bring all that in. Think about grounding rods, lightning rods, weather vanes. They're metal, right? And what always hits those? The lightning. So I want to add in that this is not harmful to have this in your garden. It's not harmful to yourself, to your pets, to your insects, or to your plants. There may be times when it is raining that you want to kind of stay cautious because of the lightning and it can, possibly strike your trellising and stuff. But I'm just going to say that it's very easy, very simple, and it's not harmful. And so give it a try. Why not? I mean, it's just ions in the air. Just like oxygen molecules, as they're running around and you're breathing them in, they don't hurt you. These are just little molecules in the air as well. I also wanted to throw in just a couple other things to kind of give you an idea of why I use this. Chinese farmers that are using this and implementing it in their fields, well, they've proved that it worked and that their production went up greatly. But they've also proven that having these ions in your atmosphere and these electrical currents constantly in there, it actually kills the bad stuff in the air as well. So it can kind of shock and kill off the molecules that are disease or mold spores and things of that nature. And then it also can go into your soil and do the same thing in your soil. So they have proven that it kills all that disease and bacteria and it keeps your garden healthier. It also boosts your metabolism for your plants. Giving them a healthy boost is a wonderful thing. If you ever walk outside on a day you're not feeling good and you put your feet in the ground, barefoot, in the dirt, you'll pull up those ions as well. And that makes you feel better. So why not? And I want to give my last example to this. The hemp industry is a big thing going on right now in the world, and they have to really keep up with supply and demand. And so they've started introducing this into their fields. And you know what? Their production went up 73% just by throwing in metal rods with metal wire between them all along in the inside and around and surrounding all their plants. Electroculture, it may sound like something really crazy, but a simple rainstorm, we get them all the time. A strike of lightning, good to go. Attract that into your garden and help your garden to grow. Thank you guys for sticking by till the end. I really appreciate that. I have to say, Team Will It Grow, we've got this. This is going to be a good Shed Wars year. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.